Welcome to Future Sounds of India, in and out sessions with the progressive legend of India, PRAVEEN Achary. What's up?
What's up, man?
PRAVEEN, how are you doing?
Good. Yeah.
Good to see you. Right, now how's Vizag?
Amazing. Second time here. Always feels like home. So, yeah, amazing as always.
Amazing. Yeah, just a quick questions before we wrap it up tonight. Yeah, the early morning. So, wanted to ask you about how it all started, especially when it comes to the label Juicebox, and why the name Juicebox?
So I've been meaning to. Actually, it goes back to when I started trying to take this career for granted. You know, like I was always a computer programmer as a career. You know, when I moved to Canada, I did computer programming as a job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a course. And I thought that was something I'd do, and I did music as a hobby.
Yeah.
And then suddenly that changed. You know, like music became my career, and computer stuff, like whether it's graphic design or whatever, just became a hobby. And when I moved to India, I moved and I realized I want to stay because it's still a developing market. You know, it's a market where every city has their own growth and their own life to it. And I realized that, okay, this is a great opportunity for someone to start something from scratch and be a part of the evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And as I started growing as an artist, I had people who did help me, and I also had people who refused to help me. And I realized that I needed to have a platform that I'd like to help other guys that were in the same position that I was. And that platform was the label. The label stood for more than just releasing music. It was It was more of developing artists. It was more of having a unified vision, you know. And the label name, Juicebox is actually a wordplay on jukebox, which is basically when you go approach a jukebox. You kind of pay the money and you say, what do you want to hear? Here it's the actual opposite. We tell you what you should hear. And it's Juicebox was most like freshly packed music, you know, that we believed in, presented to you. And that's kind of where the name came in. It was maybe premature at the time, but we stuck with it, and yeah. It's a name that actually people sometimes remember. So
it's correct.
Yeah, it worked out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So PRAVEEN, as a DJ and a very versatile producer and handling the entire Juicebox on your head, you're the head honcho of the label. So how do you balance this, and what are all the challenges that you face as a record label owner or the head honcho of Juicebox?
It was a lot to take in the beginning. I remember when I actually had a day job. I was working with a distribution company of musical instruments
in
India called the Inventory, and that was my day job at the time. But at the same time, I was like pretty determined to make it as a career on my own as an artist. And I actually didn't really sleep through 3 years of working with the company, because when I was done with the work, I'd move straight to music, and when I was done with the work of music, I was back to work with the company.
Right.
And that I didn't have a problem with either. You know, I realized that sometimes you need to sometimes balance the both to kind of see where your strengths are, and sometimes you need to put food on your plate. Of course.
True that, yeah.
But it reached a position where I was actually more successful in my music than I was in my company.
Agreed.
And I took a call on leaving the company at the time, and I still hold it dear, of course, and all of the guys that there are still very close to me.
That's kind of a huge step for you.
Yeah, and they're all mentors. Like the guy Tansir is like a huge mentor to me, and everything he's taught me is kind of also part of who I am now.
Amazing.
And I won't discredit that, because everything you learn as you go is what makes you who you are.
Agreed.
But of course, in certain times you have to make decisions of where you want to go. And at that time, I decided I wanted to be an artist solely. And I took that step. And when I lost that stability, so to speak, it was a bit tough. But it was more like a motivation for you to really focus on what you're strong in. And it turned out really well. You know, I ended up getting signed to Unmute Agency, which is India's premier house and techno agency, joined by the likes of Vinayak and Arjun Bagwe and the guys like that. So it's great to be a part of that and having your career managed by the guys who know what they're doing as well. Like, you can actually go back and forth with what you have in mind and it works out. So it was good. I mean, the call on taking music as a career was a bit hard because you knew that you probably may fail. But that's a risk that I wanted to take.
Yeah.
Because that's all I was actually looking forward to. That was the moment I was actually looking forward to. Because moving from Canada, working with computer programming, I moved to like audio engineering and filmmaking,
and then getting into producer stuff.
Yeah, I started producing in a funny way because it was realizing that everyone was DJing.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, there's no one making their own music. And I tried making my own music, and suddenly I popped up on that. There's a forum from Submerge that used to be there, and they had a competition with July Cartel at the time.
Right.
A collaborative competition. And the day I saw it was actually the deadline day.
Oh.
So I actually had 4 hours to the deadline.
Alright, to prepare a remix instead?
To do a remix, but at that time I was like, okay, fine, you know, maybe there's someone else. But other guys on the thread were putting up their remixes at the time. And I was like, okay, wait, it's not as good as I thought it was. So I downloaded the pack and I finished a remix in 2 hours. And I submitted it. I ended up winning, like, I shared the remix winner prize with another guy called Hari something. Yeah, he was doing a chill out mix and it was really good. But I really liked a couple of other remixes there as well. I felt that was competition for me. There was a guy called Shubs at the time. There was Dual Drive, which is a Color Ray and Animation. Yeah, Diatonic.
Yes.
Those guys, they were a Dual Drive at the time. And they were really like good. And I felt that was something that, it's healthy competition for me, you know? It's you did something good, can I do better?
Yeah.
That's all I think of, you know? Like, even my colleagues, I feel like if you heard me doing something, I want you to do better. Just so that you can make me feel like I can do better than you. It's not like to push you down, it's more of us pushing each other up.
Things better.
Yeah. That was the idea behind the entire process of actually my career. If I made music, it was what I felt at the time. If I heard someone else making great music, and I give them credit for it. I know Vipul from Delhi, he's a fantastic producer, and I give him all the credit because I know he's a fantastic producer.
True that.
My favorite producer is actually Color Ray from India, and that's not a hidden fact.
Not just because he represents Juicebox.
It doesn't matter whether we think of him as someone who's part of the label. I will never say he's working for the label because he's part of the label. It's always with, not for. For becomes someone's seniority, with something collaborative.
Correct.
And ever since he started making music, I felt like there was actually a lot of things that was soulful in it. You know, that I was like, this is a true representation of an artist in that field. And I admired it, you know, and I've done my part in being a good friend and a supporter in that aspect, you know. And and I've always asked him and whoever I trusted that if I make something new, I'd send it to them and I'd ask them for their opinion, because it makes a difference, you know. Like, those who are in the same wavelength as you are the ones you hold close to you. You take their opinion very seriously.
Agreed. So Praveen, what are your future plans with regards to Juicebox, and we've seen a lot of artist management. Yeah, it's an insider question though.
It's an insider
so,
question.
Yeah, insider question. So just wanted to ask you because we're trying understanding the current industry, and everybody has got their own plans, and they're moving towards the artist management perspective and moving forward towards the record label segment. And you being a head honcho of the record label already, I'm sure you'll be having a beautiful plans to establish something beyond.
Of course.
So what are your thoughts on it?
As a label perspective, we have a couple of things in place that we all spoke about together. It was an idea that stemmed from a while that we actually wanted to move ahead and implement. It's not something I could say right now because honestly it is something that will probably activate.
That's the catch.
It will activate from 2018, so it's too early to say it.
Amazing.
But because we've already signed music till September 2017.
It's huge, yeah.
Yeah, at this time, and we don't. Whatever is in place is the previous agenda, you know. And from January onwards, it's a completely new agenda that we have as a core team. You know, the label itself is community. Community comprised of tastemakers that I believe. One is Color A, one is Greg Zimmer's, and us three have our own tastes, our own ideas, our own visions. The vision is somewhat similar, our tastes are a little different, but that's what makes us who we are, and that's fair enough, and we want to represent it together collectively as Juicebox.
All the very best for that.
Thank you.
Looking forward. And yeah, we'll wind up very quickly for the last two questions. But yeah. So, what's the best venue that you've played so far, and what do you like in terms of the connect?
Best venue?
Yeah, best venue?
Waters in Goa.
Oh my god, I was there. I was there for Satellite.
Wow.
Oh my god.
What a
venue.
It's actually like a 5-layer venue. So you enter from, I think it's off the cliff going to the beach. You enter, that's the top layer. The second layer is where the main dance floor is, and then it goes on for 3 more layers. The last layer being next to the beach. And the last time I played there was for a satellite festival by Submerge, and it was the Angelina party.
Yes.
Which Color A also was there, and he played the early set, and I played after Yotto. And that was, I think, a 5 to 6 a.m. slot in Goa, almost sunrise point where you can, sunrise was in the actual other side, so you can see that gradient happening.
Yes.
In the sky.
Such beauty.
Yeah. And that was actually, that was some other experience that I can't really express, because actually every gig is something unique in its own. Like even today in Vizag, it was I didn't feel like stopping. I thought I was actually just starting, you know. And at that time, I remember playing, and the happiest moment for me was while I was playing. I knew everyone is in sync, you know, and everyone was actually understanding what I was doing. And the happiest moment was when I turned around, I saw Voss Color A behind me, and I turned to him. I was like, "I have something for you." And I played I closed my set with his remix of Andre Saboya.
Oh wow!
Just so that people know that we in India are equally talented than the guys that we are, idolizing. We always idolize the West when we have our own people to idolize.
Agreed.
Like I said before, like Color is actually one of my favorite producers in India.
You're listening, Rada. You're listening. Right.
Yeah.
So you've been such an inspiring producer, DJ, for all of us right there. So what's the message that you wanted to convey to all of us in the nearest future?
In all honesty, don't think about what is happening now. Just make music of how you feel, because I remember a couple guys.
Yeah, Praveen. So you've been such an inspiring producer and a DJ for all of us right there. So what's the message that you want to convey to all the upcoming producers and DJs in India?
The fundamental thing that I would say is don't follow a trend. Just because house music or techno is getting you gigs doesn't necessarily mean that's what you want to produce. I've noticed it myself, and actually the guys I speak to, they also feel the same, that us producing progressive house doesn't necessarily mean that's what defines us. We are music producers, we are artists in our own right, and making a genre doesn't define us, if we want to make hip hop, that doesn't stop us,
Yes.
And I know Greg was into hip hop, I was into hip hop for a long time. And I've done beats for a friend of mine who actually passed away recently, but I've done beats for him. So that was me being a music producer, And I was actually very happy doing that. And a lot of times when I'm doing remixes for other guys or making my own music, I start following what they expect. And then at a certain point I say, you know what? This is the point when I realize that what you expect is what you should receive. And I'll change it completely. And if a guy was expecting progressive house, I'll make a deep house track. If a guy was expecting deep house, I'll make a techno or progressive kind of vibe.
Giving something beyond.
Yeah, because if you actually accept me as an artist, then you should accept me as what I want to say with it.
Correct.
So that was important for me, and I think that is important for everyone who wants to make music. That don't just get into it just because your bookings rely on it or so and so. It doesn't really rely on it, honestly. If you can market yourself as an artist, as a general artist, as a public figure, that's good enough. Someone will follow you because of your character, your personality. Well, they'll believe in what you want to say, which is music at that point, as a musician. If it was a painter or an actor, they follow them because of what they want to say, or what they want to portray.
Right.
It doesn't matter how they do it. And that's what I want to
convey to the people around there.
Yeah, they should really follow what they want to really do. If it doesn't work now, it doesn't mean it doesn't work in 10 years. And I know artists that have hit, jackpot at the age of 60 instead of 30.
Yeah.
Because they never stop trying. They never stop believing in themselves.
Correct.
And that's really good.
That's an amazing message. And we as the Free Sounds of India, thank you so much. We have so much opportunity for hosting Juicebox Music. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.